Alright, here we go. Welcome back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, William Liberty, and with me is...
Fawwaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got some stuff to talk about. We got new Pokemon Sun and Moon announced. We've got reviewing long RPGs and Atlas fighting for more fair reviews. We got Sony just continuing PS Vita TV.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, jeez. Umbrella Corpse modes detailed. Meh. Guilty Gear characters revealed, Raven and Coom. Killer Instinct Tusk details revealed. And finally, Mass Effect Andromeda being delayed to 2017. But let's talk about what we played this week. So I played a bunch of Rainbow Six Siege. You know, I went back to that game and had some fun. Because they have the new operators. It's the Canadian operators.
Sorry.
Yep. Hey, actually, I really like the defensive operator Frost. She's got these awesome bear traps and whatnot.
Bear traps?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's amazing. I love it. It's so satisfying when you're hiding in like a hidey hole and all of a sudden bear trap activated.
Oh my god. It's just funny because it's like, we don't... Anyway, of course the Canadian operator has bear traps. You know, at least it was a bear. You know what? I got nothing else to say.
Well,
right?
you know, it's like it would have been more on the nose if it was like, you know, she just chucked poutine. You know, something like that.
Or a penguin
or
trap.
no, she had like a bucket of maple syrup and she would spill that on the ground.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Somehow
yes.
I don't see Ubisoft doing that, but hey, you know, I'm glad to hear you're really enjoying this game.
Yeah, I'm glad. I did end up just buying it instead of using the renown points because I did calculate it, and it's one of those things where it's like you can unlock this character with renown, which is like the currency that you make in the game, right?
Yeah.
But you make about maybe 300 points per game.
Okay.
If you win, and maybe about 100 if you lose.
Okay.
Depending on how well you do and whatnot. And the character costs about 25,000 points.
What?
So I was like, honestly, it's not like if you play this game enough, like I've saved up about like half of that at the moment after all the games I've played. And
so you have half enough to buy one character.
Yes.
Wow.
I know. It's not that great. Although, but my friend basically said, well, why don't they make it like 5,000 or something like that? And I'm like, well, 5,000 is something that you could make in like probably a week. So no one would be spending money on this. Like no one in their right mind. So I understand why they made the number a little bit higher than it should have been. I mean, it's not like unbelievably unreachable. It's just something that I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to spend $4 and get this character, whatever.
You sure it's not unbelievably unreachable?
I have seen worse. I will tell you that. I have seen way worse. But I don't know. Maybe that's just because I've seen the worser, the reach. I don't know. I was a little bit like, why did it have to be 25,000? Could it have been like, you know, maybe 1,500 or something like that? Maybe that would have been a little bit more reachable to me.
It'll take you close to 100 wins to unlock one character.
People play this game a lot, and if you played it enough,
One character.
One character. That is
How
true.
many characters are there to unlock in this game?
About maybe 10, but the other characters are cheaper.
Okay, so the most expensive one will take you 100 games.
Yeah, like the other characters are like around 1,000 to 2,000 points.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's just the DLC characters that are costing this much.
Okay. Okay, that's fine then. That's
yeah,
fine.
like
I thought they all cost that.
No, if they all cost that many points, then Holy shit, that would have been ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. That was why I was like, oh my god, Tanner, stop trying to justify it. But okay.
But basically that's what I played this week. Had a lot of fun with that. What about you, Fawwaz?
Oh, I played this cute game called Gwent this week, actually.
Wait,
You ever heard of Gwent?
What?
Gwent, Gwent.
Gwent. No, I actually haven't. I'm gonna look up an image right now. But yeah, keep talking.
Yeah, it's this really cool card game. It's a collectible card game, and
You motherfucker. It's in The Witcher 3. Oh, you have my hopes up that you fucking god.
So yeah, I played The Witcher 3, but in The Witcher 3 there's this game called Gwent, and I spent a lot of time playing it.
Fucking god damn it.
Oh my god, I was trying so hard not to laugh. So I've been going around, because how it works is you start the game off, you do a tutorial, and they give you a basic deck, and then you can challenge. There's a lot of different people. It's mostly merchants. You can challenge merchants. First of all, a lot of innkeepers actually sell Gwent cards, so you can go there and you can buy a bunch of cards from them, and they're pretty cheap. Yeah. And you can challenge certain merchants and certain characters for Gwent cards, and then there's specific characters that have quests attached to them. Mm-hmm. If you beat them, you get a unique card. It's usually like a legendary card. Yeah, so let me just get into the rules of the game. I'll try not to, because it has a surprising amount of depth to it. Mm-hmm. But so how it works is that there's 3 rows, and you can play melee characters, archers, or siege units, and you can play each row. There's a corresponding row to each. I guess class. And then every card you play has an attack number in the top left, right?
Right.
So you're just like, pretty much the goal is to have at the end of the round, have a higher attack than your opponent. Mm-hmm. Now, where things get interesting, first of all, you don't draw cards, right? Like, it's not like a Hearthstone or any other card game, actually, where every single turn you draw cards. You start the game off with 10 cards, and that's all you're going to have for the entire game. Now, obviously, as with all card games, there's ways around this. Like the class that I play, their abilities, whenever they win a round, going into the next round, they get to draw a card.
Okay.
And then there are these units called spy cards, who you play on your opponent's side of the field. So they increase your opponent's overall attack, but they draw you 2 cards when you play them. So it's kind of a risk-reward type of thing. Okay. Yeah, so some rounds I'll have like 2 spy cards in my hand. So I'll just play 2 spy cards to my opponent on my opponent's side, and I'll just forfeit that round. And then there's just this other thing. They have these things called weather effects. So like the weather effects affect an entire row. So like the 3 weather effects are torrent, rain, fog, and ice. Mm-hmm. And then the ice affects melee characters, the fog affects archers, and the rain affects siege units. It affects both sides of the field though. So if you have a handful of siege units and you play the rain card, you pretty much just shot. You pretty much rained on your own parade. See what I did there?
You are on point today.
Thank you. So there's cards that have like unique abilities. Like there's certain units that if you play them next to each other, they double their attack. There's units that if you play them, they search your deck for every other unit with the same name, and they play them automatically. Okay. There's the spy units that buff your opponents but draw cards for you, and then there's legendary units. Now, how legendary units work is that first of all, they're not affected by anything, so they can't be nerfed by the weather effects. But the flip side of that is that they can't. There's this card called it's like a battle horn, and you can play it on any row. And it doubles the attack of that row. Right?
Oh boy.
Yeah, so they're not attacked. They're not affected by that card either. There's this card that destroys the creature with the highest attack on the field. They're not affected by that either. So, but then the thing about legendary cards is that they're hard to get. In fact, a lot of times you have to beat specific people to get a specific legendary.
So what it sounds like, it's a whole other game inside this already big game.
Yeah, there is a surprising amount of depth to it. I keep saying this, but I'm just surprised by how much depth there is to the game. It's funny because I feel like I'm playing Geralt, playing Hearthstone. Because like I'll go into a place and I'll see people playing the game, and I'm like, yo, can I get a quick game of Gwent in there? And then I'm building up my deck and stuff. And it's actually really funny though. This one dude I beat, and after I beat him, he was so salty. He sounded like a Hearthstone player. He was like, I don't know how you beat me. Your deck is garbage. You know what? Here, take this card because you obviously need it. I'm like, yo, stay salty, dude, and hold that L real quick.
Nice.
Yeah. But so that's pretty much what I've been. I'm also playing a new game plus. And it's been fun. It's been fun. I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty, but I found this really cool build that made because when I first started playing The Witcher, I think I was on drugs because I started playing to the second highest difficulty, and it made the game very hard because I was figuring a lot of stuff out, and I was also playing on a very because what makes the last two difficulties really hard is that on easy and normal, whenever you meditate, you heal all your health, right?
Right.
They take that away on hard and let's just call it nightmare. Death March is what they call it. So they take that away on the two highest difficulties. So it becomes a war of attrition because you cannot heal. Like there's no efficient way to heal. You know how in certain RPGs you can go to inns and
just rest up.
Yeah, just rest up. You can't do that. So you had to eat. You had to eat or drink potions to heal. It was actually funny when I first started playing The Witcher 3. I would go into the forest and I would hunt. I'd hunt animals to get food so I could heal because that was how hard things were. So anyway, I made this build. It was like an alchemy build. And what it does is there's just two potions I take. When I take one and that one makes all my heavy attacks consume stamina, right?
Right.
Then I consume a second potion, which makes it that whenever I do something that consumes stamina, it heals me. So yeah.
Yeah, naturally.
It pretty much just makes a lot. There's a lot of areas that I clear, and I'm like, wow, I don't even know how I would have cleared this if I did not have this build right now. There's that. And honestly, just in summary, because I think this is going to be the last time I'm going to be talking about The Witcher on the podcast until the DLC comes out.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just in summary, man, in case you haven't noticed, I fully recommend The Witcher. It's really cool because there is one thing, right? I really love it when you can relate to a character in a video game, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, Geralt, all the ladies love Geralt, right? And then I'm just sitting there like, man, I know how you feel, Geralt. I can understand your pain. All these women hitting on you all the time.
Oh, yeah. Completely relatable.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to throw that joke in there real quick. But on the real though, if for anybody who's listening to this that's considering picking up The Witcher, I fully recommend it. If you like open world games, give The Witcher a chance. Before you buy it, however, there's two things I recommend doing. One is watch some footage. Watch something that summarizes what happened in The Witcher 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because the game there's a lot of baggage when you start playing this game. They're introducing characters left, right, and center. There's a civil war going on. There's a lot of stuff, and it makes a lot of callbacks to The Witcher 1 and 2 that went over my head. So I feel like I would have enjoyed the story a lot more if I had given myself a little...
That's the main reason why I've been personally holding off on The Witcher 3 is because I currently am playing through Witcher 2, and I'm trying to get through it. It's a hard game. I find it difficult on normal. So I'm trying to get through it, and hopefully I'll be able to beat it. And now that I have a much more powerful PC, I can easily transfer the decisions. Because that's the thing that really bugged me was I was hoping that maybe they would release something we're gonna release a Witcher trilogy on the PS4 or Xbox One, right?
I mean, I wouldn't have bought it anyway. Those games take 50 hours.
No, I know, but it's it's the same. It's the thing where it's if I have a game where decisions actually matter and transfer from game to game, I want to play it in order to the best of my abilities. So that's why when I bought Mass Effect 2, and then I went to 3, and I carried over that character's decisions.
Yeah, or even Dragon Age. EA had
yeah.
like a little app that lets you make some decisions.
Yeah, that
like
app was that app was interesting, but
that
also,
app was shit.
Yeah,
call it like you see it, Tanner. That app was shit.
No, I was going to make that comment because I talked about how annoying that app was to use and how.
I made decisions and then I'm playing the game and the decisions didn't carry over. I'm like, so what is this app for? But I digress. The other thing that I recommend is if you're going to watch any Witcher related footage, do it in incognito mode. Do yourself a favor and do it in incognito mode because YouTube has this very bad habit of recommending spoiler videos.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That I learned the hard way. Now, the beauty of spoilers in a game where you make decisions is that those things just never came to pass in my game. But I'm not going to pretend like the fact that I knew the fates that awaited some characters did not affect some of my decisions. Let me just put it that way.
Okay, yeah.
Right? I knew that some characters could end up in a certain way, so it definitely affected my decision. So do yourself a favor if you're ever watching any Witcher 3 videos at all. Because I never watch story videos. I watch like build videos and stuff like that. And then YouTube was like, oh, here, let me recommend this video of this character being. Let me not even go into that.
It's like just giant. So that's a YouTube thing that always annoys me. Where it's like I want to look up Attack on Titan news. God fucking damn it, shit. Fuck.
Yeah, so like that really upset me. And like I said, fortunately, The Witcher 3, you make decisions. So like a lot of stuff that I saw never came to pass. In fact, I literally because I saw videos detailing 2 of the endings. I literally got the one ending that was not spoiled for me. So there is that. But it sucks. So Witcher definitely 2 thumbs up all the way. So yeah.
Well, let's get into some news. All right. So they recently it's 20th anniversary for Pokemon. So they released a cool little trailer showing all the Pokemon games from good old the first one, yellow, red, and green, red and blue, all the way to X and Y. It was this really kind of nice, neat trailer. And then at the end, they announced the next Pokemon game, which is Sun and Moon. And it was mostly just a title card, but a couple people are really excited. And the one thing I will say that makes me excited is that, one, the last Pokemon game was Alpha Ruby and Omega Sapphire.
I don't count those as Pokemon.
Yeah, but those are they're technically new ones, but not really. They're more like remakes, just in the new engine.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I'm excited for an actual new Pokemon, and I'm interested since this is technically that 20th anniversary. They might add something new. They might. Hopefully, I'm hoping that they add some new stuff. Somebody pointed out, though, that this is probably one of the worst titles you could name your Pokemon, because I'm going to let you see if you can find this train of thought, Fawwaz. So, you shorten things from time to time, right?
Yeah.
So, you go...
Oh, my God.
I love how immediately you knew where I was going. So, instead of going Pokemon Sun and Moon, you're typing in Google Pokemon S&M. And imagine a bunch of kids doing that by accident.
Oh my God.
And I was I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, neither did I. Oh,
I saw that post. That made me laugh so hard. Holy shit. So, this is as someone who has made big mistakes in naming things and not understanding what they actually imply, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. I would highly recommend that Nintendo look in the future of not doing this.
Yeah.
But
just real quick, actually, real funny story in regards to what you just said. So there's this rapper that I'm a big fan of called Chaos. He's a Canadian rapper, actually.
Yeah.
So he released this album. He released an album a couple years ago called Black on Blonde, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, see, I have a very innocent mind, so no, I don't. But I'm actually surprised that I didn't see this coming. Anyway, so I was looking up because he announced the album and then he didn't mention a lot about it, right? So I went on Google and I was like, okay, let me just Google it, see if there's any information about the album. So I Google it and I'll just leave the story at that. Yeah, I'll just leave the story at that. Moving on. Hopefully because from what I hear, they made a big leap. For, X and Y was a big.
Oh yeah.
They added a bunch of new stuff in X and Y. So hopefully for the 20th anniversary, they see how well received X and Y were, and then they keep on in that direction. Because Pokemon, I love me some Pokemon. But seriously, that has to be the franchise that has changed the least in 20 years. Are you kidding
absolutely,
me? Like,
yeah.
you go from it's literally the same game every single time. Every single time. You pick 3 Pokemon, it's always the same 3 types. You have a random what's this thing called? A random rival who always picks the type that counters the type that you pick. You go up and they're just fanatic group that's doing some shit with Pokemon. You fight a bunch of gym leaders to get a bunch of badges. It's like, come on, guys. Come on.
And I'm hoping that they do this because they did do this a little bit in X and Y, and I actually enjoyed it. Is that they were talking about shit like the Pokemon War. And how, like, people were dying in the past. And there was, like, a part in Pokemon X and Y where, like, this death machine, this ancient relic got, like, activated and shit like that. And I want to see more Final Fantasy shit in my Pokemon. I don't know. I think that would make the stakes, because I feel like the stakes are never super high in the Pokemon game. So I feel like another Pokemon that raises the stakes would be great and an interesting addition. But anyway, cool stuff. Moving on from that, recently there was a big interview with, I think, one of the producers of Atlas.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how they're trying to fight for more fair reviews on their games. And what he's talking about is a very interesting point that I've mentioned a couple times in the past, where it's very difficult to review really long games. Because a lot of reviewers, they only have so much time to review a game before they have to move on. And a lot of times that can make for game sort of reviews that come out and it's like, you get things like, oh, Bethesda games have this problem where it's like, oh yeah, this game's great, awesome. And then they don't talk about a couple of the little problems that they would have found down the line if they had played a couple more hours.
Yeah.
But he's talking about what I really like about this sort of like interview is that he's talking about how, like, when you only get to play a game for like a couple, like maybe a couple days or so, you're only really getting like 5% of this experience, because Atlas games are long. Like, Atlas games are freaking long. As someone who played through Persona 3 and Persona 4, Atlas games are long. So, yeah. But the one thing that I will give him the most credit for is that even he says, like, look, I would rather have people and gamers have a full picture whether or not the review is good or bad than just a glimpse.
Yeah.
Which I actually really, really appreciated. But what were your thoughts on just the interview overall?
I love the interview because because first of all, it wasn't just because one thing I don't like, and this is speaking in general, is when people come out and they complain about something without offering an alternative, right? When they complain about a system, something that people have been doing for years now, and they don't offer an alternative, I'm like, well, what are you doing? So he came out and he was like that he doesn't like this system. So what Atlas is going to be doing now is they're going to start sending out review copies of their game significantly longer in advance.
Yeah.
In the article, it stated that some games, the reviewers are going to get some games 3 weeks in advance. There was one game that they're going to get like 60-something days in advance, which, I mean, is still not enough time, if we're being honest, especially with Atlas games, but it's more time isn't going to hurt.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I definitely agree with what he's saying, because look at me and The Witcher 3. Seriously, like, I mean, no, that's not true. That's a terrible example, because I liked The Witcher when I first started playing. I just took a very long break. I'm trying to think of an example. Persona. Yeah, no, it only took me 10 hours to get into Persona. Only, quote unquote. It only took me 10 hours to break through the wall of Persona. Yeah. But let's say, I mean, and first of all, like, just for the sake of clarity, I don't think it's fair for a game, to take that long of a time investment.
That I understand.
for it to start getting good. I don't think that's good game design in my humble opinion. But with that said, there's a difference though, because okay, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place with different points. It's more time is good because it gives the developer more time to look at all the other aspects of the game. Going back to my Witcher 3 example, I have a better analogy now. Look at the Gwent situation. I didn't even touch Gwent on my first playthrough, right? Now, for sure, if I was going to score this game, this Gwent mini game, for example, it's only going to help the final score, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, I definitely like this, and I think it's a step in the right direction. Hopefully, more developers adopt this method. Send in their games earlier, because it's like, for sure, if you are proud of the game you've made, you should have no issues with sending out review copies ASAP. If you have nothing to hide, you should have no issues with sending out review copies. Now I understand the need for review embargoes. We're not complaining about embargoes here. I understand the need. You want the reviews to come out right as the game is coming out. So people are reading all these good reviews, and then they just impulse buy. Yeah, they go out and they buy it. I completely understand that. But then, there's nothing wrong with letting a reviewer have more time with your game. How many times have an IGN, for example, they've amended their review after the fact because stuff was revealed down the line with the game. Stuff was they found stuff out with the game down the line. This obviously doesn't apply to all games. A game like The Division now, for example, because it's primarily an online-based game. Getting the game 30 days before the game launches isn't going to do a whole lot, I don't think, to improve or hurt the game score.
Yeah, same thing with other games. If you were to review Helldivers or maybe even Splatoon at launch compared to what they are now, there's just so much more content. Or even Street Fighter. Street Fighter 5 is actually a more topical example. Probably, let's say a couple months from now, when that game has a lot more content, people would give it a much more fair review than they are doing now. So, but that's sort of the thing, is that with JRPGs especially, there's a lot of systems and mechanics that get added a lot later into the game, and they're a part of the game, and they make a difference. Fire Emblem is a good example of that, where there's this whole sort of it's a little bit weird, but this whole breeding mechanic with with certain characters, they become
characters.
What?
I thought you were gonna say your horses or
no. No, I'm not horses. No, didn't know about this? Fire Emblem is some people have nicknamed Fire Emblem Awakening Fire Emblem Shipping, because it's a lot of times you romantically pair characters together, and their children come back into the story later on, and they get the hereditary traits.
Whoa, that's kind of cool.
It's actually really neat, because it's you get a character. It's all right, I have this girl who has special healing abilities, and then this guy who has +2 strength to every ability or whatnot.
Oh my God.
And then you go, hey, let's ship them together, and then their kid comes along, and he's got both of those attributes and whatnot. But that's a mechanic that if you only played maybe I want to say if you played maybe 8 hours of Fire Emblem, you would never get to see. At all. And that's a big part of the game. So, so I feel like this is good. I'm glad to see that Atlas is doing this, and I just hope that more developers try this out.
Yeah, same here.
So let's talk about some not surprising but not really great news. You're going to probably take this away. Sony is discontinuing the PS Vita TV.
Yeah, the biggest surprise here was that it hadn't happened already.
Yeah.
The anything Vita related is just
slowly disappearing.
It's just the Vita was just, at this point, I think Sony just wants to wipe that name from their history, because especially considering how successful the PS4 and Sony as a whole have been these past 2 years. They're just trying to wipe that stain off their name. And
Yeah.
the PS Vita TV was another good idea that just didn't. It just never connected with gamers. I don't like. I understand why the Vita flopped, but I think maybe it was just that I don't understand why the Vita TV did. Maybe it was just that by the time it came out, people were just they just wanted nothing to do with the Vita. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this that I haven't already. The PS Vita TV has been discontinued. So if you're hoping to buy one, rush out and buy one now. And if you have one, hey, hold on to that bad boy. It might be worth something on eBay soon.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a shame. Like, we've already talked about, I think we've pretty much done our 2 cents on the Vita. Like, you know, I was hoping that it was going to be great. And in some ways, I'm pissed off that it has one of the better versions of Persona 4. And I want to play it really badly. But that being said, like, you know, I understand why this happened.
Mm-hmm.
Next on our list.
I guess to move from one disappointment to another.
So we got some more modes detailed in Umbrella Corps. I'm never really that excited to talk about this game because the gameplay just looks really, really bland. Like, I know that there's zombies and I know that there's shooting, but there's so many shooters now. And this game does not... I will say this, though. The one thing that I did think was kind of cool about this trailer in particular, and I don't know if I didn't notice this about the other trailers, is that it showed off actual levels from the Resident Evil games as maps, which I thought was kind of cool. Like, there's sort of like there's particularly one of the more famous scenes from Resident Evil 4 in the beginning, where you're in that village and you have to like sort of barricade yourself from a chainsaw guy and a couple villagers. That's a map. Okay. That was a map that was in the trailer. Also, very similar. There's a Resident Evil 5 map in which you had to hide from a giant guy with a executioner axe and a bunch of zombies in this sort of like little shanty town. And that was a map as well. So I thought that was actually kind of a neat little thing that they threw in there. So I thought that was kind of cool, but just this I don't know. I honestly don't know who this game is for. Like, this game is not really for Resident Evil fans because Resident Evil fans don't really, at least a lot of that I know, don't really care for this kind of first-person shooter, fast-paced combat. Like, that's not really what Resident Evil is known for, so I find it kind of boggling. A lot of people are saying that people shouldn't be shitting on this because it's more of a spin-off than an actual Resident Evil title.
Yeah.
And I get that, but it's just... It's kind of like it's there. Like, you see it in the background, you see it in the levels, like, you see the Resident Evil, like, honestly, you know what I think the other thing is that people are more pissed off because Resident Evil 6 was not great. Like, it was not great at all. And
5 was mediocre.
What?
5 was...
Yeah, 5 was mediocre. I played 5. I thought it was okay. It wasn't as bad as some people say it was.
Yeah.
6 was bad, and people have been itching for another good Resident Evil game to come out, and when the next Resident Evil game is technically this, and people are still waiting on 7, it's like,
And that's probably the problem, because, like, really, the last good Resident Evil game was Resident Evil 4. The last good, like, Resident Evil game, like, that wasn't, like, a remake was Resident Evil 4 in 2005. It's been 11 years. So no, it's the same thing with Metroid, right? And that new Metroid that they announced. It's like a Metroid spin-off it's all fine and dandy. When people are waiting for I've been waiting years for a new regular Metroid game, and then you give them that, you set the game up to fail. And it's the same thing with this. Yeah. If they had announced a Resident Evil 7 maybe last year, that was looking really good, then people would see this and it'd be like gravy, you know. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll give this a shot. But then
it's like this is something that tied you over while we work on Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, you know, exactly. And I think this year is the 20th anniversary.
Probably coming close, yeah.
Yes, Resident Evil, March 22nd, 1996. So, this year is the 20th anniversary. In fact, this month is the 20th anniversary. so people, you know, like we're getting a new Pokemon game on the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, and then we're getting a Resident Evil spin-off. So they've said I don't understand when publishers do this kind of stuff, man.
Mm.
Because I'm like, are you guys just devoid of common sense? Because I don't think I'm that smart. I generally don't think I'm that smart. But like right out the gate, you look at this, and this game was set up to fail. This game was set up to fail, right? It's the same shit with DMC Devil May Cry, right? I'm like, how did you guys not see how this was going to rub people the wrong way? You know, and then the game comes out, it fails, and they're like, oh yeah, well, and it's like, come on, guys, you should have seen this coming. You set yourself up for this. You had it coming. So I don't get it when publishers do shit like this. Yeah, it's
just kind of.
But like, hey, Capcom are a company notorious for having their heads up their asses, so this really shouldn't surprise us at this point.
Yeah, at this point. All right, well, let's move on to some better news. Just a bunch of Guilty Gear characters got announced. Raven and Coom. And you had some interesting things to say about these characters. So
yeah. So so Coom, as because I think the trailer is going to be playing over my voice right now. Coom is the older looking dude with the big beard that is actually a woman. So it's a woman. So like the story behind Coom is that she's a member of this clan, and apparently the clan, like most places in the world, don't want women to lead them. So to battle the injustice, she develops a suit that she creates this suit because she's like one of the most powerful people in the clan, but she's being ignored just because she's a woman. So she creates this suit. So it makes her appear like she's a man, and she fights in the suit. She's got a really interesting playstyle. She's detailed as being an easy to pick up character, which I mean, like, Guilty Gear characters are not easy to pick up.
Yeah, I was gonna make that comment. Like,
yeah, Guilty Gear characters are not easy to pick up. The reason why I've been meaning to pick up a new character for a very long time now, but every single time I think about how long it took me to get decent with Elphelt, I'm like, yeah, screw that. So she's supposed to be an easier character to pick up. She's not supposed to require lengthy combos like most of the other characters, and she's link based. So for those that don't know, like there's different. This is going to be a little in depth. There's different like with when you. I'm trying to think of how I explain this. In a Street Fighter 4, you pick Kami and you press down and punch, right? And you just mash punch. And the punches all chain into each other. You get like a 3-hit combo with no timing required, right?
Right.
Yeah. A link-based character is someone like Sagat, who, if you mash the jab, they don't combo. You have to time the button presses. That's a link, right? A chain is when you can just mash it. You don't have to time it. You just mash it and it comes out. But then a link is where you have to hit it, then get the right timing and hit it again. So she's going to be a link-based character. It's going to be so weird calling her a she when it's like a big burly dude with a gigantic beard. But that's Guilty Gear for you. That's Guilty Gear. Look up Bridget, Guilty Gear. That's a character that's supposed to be a man.
Yeah, you showed me that and I was like, what the fuck?
So yeah, this is par for the course for Arc System Works. The other character is Raven. Raven's a character we've known about for a very long time now. I think he was introduced in Guilty Gear Overture, which is that Guilty Gear that no one played. It wasn't even a fighting game. It was like I don't even know what it was, but it wasn't a fighting game, so I didn't touch it. So this is his fighting game debut, and he works for like That Man. That's actually what the character is called. It's called That Man, and he's like the main antagonist of the series. So he's like. He's a henchman of That Man, and he looks like more of a zoning character. His limbs stretch out, kind of like Dalsim. He's got fireballs that when they hit you, they slow you down for like a second. And he's got this really cool mechanic. I forget what it's called, but he goes into a stance. And if he gets hit while he's in that stance, it does like recoverable damage to him.
Yeah.
And then he has a gauge that when he fills it up, I'm not sure what happens when he fills it up, but I'm guessing it's like buffs his moves or something like that. So that's because it's funny because the character in lore, he's like a masochist.
Okay.
That name of someone that likes pain.
I know what a masochist is, G.
No. I was asking. I wasn't sure.
A masochist is someone who enjoys pain. Yes.
Okay, there we go.
You didn't know what a masochist was?
I wasn't sure. You got to double check these things, right? I mean, I said the word, in the context, in the correct context. So obviously, I had an idea of what it meant, but I wasn't sure. I'll just double check. So yeah, he's a masochist in the story. He because he's been alive for so long, he doesn't feel anything except pain, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of ties into his story because gameplay wise, he has that move where he lets you hit him and it buffs him. So I was like, that's pretty cool of them. So the two of them are they're gonna be console exclusive characters. They're not in the arcade version of the game yet. And in regards, and then they also announced that there's gonna be a if you pre-order the digital version of Guilty Gear on the PS4, you get access to a demo. A PSN demo that's going to have all the characters except Raven and Kum. It's going to have all the new mechanics and all of that. It's going to have Johnny, Jacko, and Jam, plus the old characters. And and you're going to get some exclusive colors too.
Yeah. That's always good.
So overall, it's they're gearing up really nice for their release in June 7th, if my memory
I think it's sort of around June
serves me right. And I'm excited. I was considering buying the game for my PS3, and I was considering buying it retail, but considering when I wanted to buy Guilty Gear retail, I went to EB Games and I was like, yo, I want to buy Guilty Gear, and they were like, what's that? So I'm probably just going to buy this digital as well, especially since there's actually a benefit to buying it digital. The only downside is that it means that I'm finally going to have to actually shell out on a PS4 stick. Because this probably won't have legacy controller support, so I'll probably just mod my stick. There's a motherboard you can buy. It's like $80, which is $100 cheaper than a PS4 stick. So I'll buy the motherboard and I'll mod it into my stick or something. I'll figure something out.
I'm sure you will, Fawwaz. Fawwaz finds a way.
Yeah, when it comes to saving money, I don't mess around. But yeah, what about you, man? I've been babbling.
Honestly, from what I saw, I thought both of the characters were pretty cool. It's funny because it's like, it's just the weird gender swap thing it's a very anime thing, and it does fit this game weirdly enough. But overall, I thought the characters were overall pretty cool, and I really liked the look of Raven's projectiles, that they were like these sort of purple swirling death things.
Yeah.
I like that in particular. But that's all I really got to say, to be honest. But next on our list, more fighting game news. Killer Instinct Tusk got a bunch of details, and I really like the way he looks. Like
he looks really cool. So apparently, and they gave us a little more. So apparently in Killer Instinct 2, right? The story was that the characters went back in time.
Right.
So when they went back in time, that was because the three characters that were introduced in Killer Instinct 2 were Tusk, Kim Woo, and Maya.
Okay.
Yeah, so those three characters were introduced because they were all from the past. Maya was an Amazon, Kim Woo was an ancient Japanese character, and Tusk was a barbarian, right? So Kim Woo and Maya in the new Killer Instinct got updated to modern characters, as you can tell from Kim Woo's trailer. She's a modern character now. However, Tusk is actually still an ancient. He's an immortal Viking. That's his thing, and they showed up some gameplay of him. He's got some interesting things. He's got a lot of range on his sword. It's actually funny because in Marvel vs. Capcom, we had this thing called was it Sword Privilege? I can't remember the exact name for it. But it was just that whenever a character had a sword, that character was always top tier because in Marvel anyway, swords did not have in most fighting, if I poke with a normal, right?
Yeah.
You can counter poke that normal. You can hit that normal with your own normal or something like that. But swords, you could not hit the sword, right? So it automatically it gave them disjointed attacks that they could just swing around. So looking at Tusk, I don't know if it's going to apply to him, but that sword looks really dangerous. It's also got a guard point on it, so it's kind of like armor. If you attack him at that exact frame, he'll just guard it and it wouldn't interrupt him. Overall, he looked pretty interesting. He did a lot of damage. One last thing before I forget. They also gave the release date for Season 3 of Killer Instinct. It's going to be March 29th. They're going to launch with 4 characters. Tusk, Kim Woo, Rash, and Arbiter.
Yeah.
So hopefully they have some really nice trailers for season 1 and season 2. So hopefully they have another trailer for season 3. I actually I was considering waiting till they release the trailer to talk about this. So, but
we were trying to fill up some of the gaps this week. It hasn't exactly been the most eventful.
Don't keep it so real, Tanner.
Hey, listen, I like to be honest with our viewers. But overall, I really like Tusk. I really like the effect of how his sword heats up.
Yeah,
I think that's an awesome effect, and also the fact that he can just say "fuck you" to fireballs and projectiles by like slamming his sword into the ground.
Yeah,
like I feel like overall his moves look really good, and I like the way he wields the sword. Like overall, like I think he looks like a really fun character to use.
Yeah, he does. The thing about that sword heating up was that I felt like there was a gameplay mechanic behind it, but they never went into it in detail. So I don't know. Maybe they just forgot to mention it.
I think they might have mentioned it. I just was kind of confused by it, but like I think it's like if your sword heats up to a certain point, something happens or something like that.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. But the last piece of news we got is, unfortunately, Mass Effect Andromeda has been delayed to 2017.
Now, when Tanner told me about this, I was like, the game never had a release date.
It didn't really have a release date. It had more like a release window.
I mean, like, getting delayed from a release window is not really a delay.
Yeah, I know. It's not really a delay, but
especially when the release window is December 31st, 2016. If that doesn't scream placeholder, I don't know what to...
Yeah. You know, it's actually funny because this reminded me a lot, like, okay, why was I even surprised by this? Because, like, Mass Effect 3 was announced to come out in December of, like, 2011, and it ended up coming out in 2012, March 3rd, or March 6th, yeah. And that was kind of a delay. I was like, all right, fine. But I was just, I don't know. I was kind of excited to finally get back into Mass Effect this year, because, you know, it's been a while. Like, Mass Effect 3 came out in 2012, so it's been a while. So I'm just excited for the game, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll wait till 2017.
Yeah, but for me, I'm like, we've literally not seen any gameplay of this game.
I know. It's a similar thing where it's like when XCOM 2 got delayed. Like, okay, that's understandable. We've barely seen anything.
I mean, even that one made more sense. But yeah, XCOM 2, it's pretty much the same shit. It was announced in, like, June, and they were like, it's coming out in November. Yeah. And I was like, no, it's not. Why are you lying?
Why you lying?
So yeah, Mass Effect. It's like some clown was talking about how he thinks what's his game called? Cyberpunk 2077 is going to come out in 2017. And you know what? It might. That is possible. But if it doesn't, I won't be surprised because it's a game we've seen absolutely nothing of except this. I don't count CGI trailers, right? So we've seen absolutely nothing of. So for me, I'm like, you know, same thing with Persona. Actually, when that got delayed, I was like,
Yeah, but we've seen more Persona overall than Mass Effect.
Yeah, exactly, and that still got delayed. So
yeah, so there we go. You can never really be sure if something's going to be delayed or not.
But yeah, hopefully we see more gameplay at E3 this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I will not be watching Microsoft press conference.
You mean
EA's
you just
hopefully they reveal gameplay added that I'll talk about, that I'll watch after the fact.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for that. So hopefully we get some more news at E3. If we could get a gameplay trailer in E3, I'd be happy. You know, because that's the list. You know, I think it was in 2014 we got the not really announcement of Andromeda. Then in 2015 we got an actual CG trailer. So I'm hoping that 2016 is we get the gameplay trailer. Like, yeah,
and then hopefully by 2017 we get a gameplay walkthrough, and then the game will actually launch in like 2019.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just kidding. Just real quick, actually, can I just ask you a question?
Sure. Go for it.
Why do you like Mass Effect?
Why do I like Mass Effect?
Yes. I've always wondered why people love this franchise so much.
Here's the thing, and I can understand why 1 is not the best example and why 2 is the best example of why I like Mass Effect.
Okay.
Is that Mass Effect has a really simple, like, on the basis of for Mass Effect 2 as my example, on the basis what's actually happening in the plot isn't too crazy. You know, humans are being picked up by these aliens called the Collectors and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And you're sort of just doing that and whatnot, and you're just sort of figuring out the mystery. What happened to the aliens and whatnot? And eventually you're gonna have to stop the Reapers, right? Big alien force. But what the game, especially Mass Effect 2, is about is it's about your relationship with your crew. So you go on these missions to recruit your crew. So you get this great introduction to the characters. You get a great introduction to who they are and what they are. Eventually they end up on your ship, and you just have a lot of really interesting, well thought out dialogue of how you can interact with these characters and how they interact with each other. And one of the best parts about it is bringing characters to certain missions and seeing their personalities bounce off each other. Like, particularly, like, the one that I found was hilarious is that the Quarians hate the Geth, which are, like, these robotic kind of characters, right?
So, what's her name? And Legion, probably.
Yeah, Tali and Legion. And you can specifically bring Legion to one of her, like, the main Quarian, like, ship. And all the Quarians are like, what the fuck? And literally, Tali's like, this was the worst possible idea that you could possibly make, Shepard. And it's stuff like that. It's just, I think in the end, it's like, I know that the gameplay is not exactly amazing, but the interactions with the characters, and I just like the atmosphere. I like the science fiction atmosphere that the game sort of has. And it's the relationship with the characters that really sold me on it. And I like the idea of loyalty missions, which was what I got introduced to. But that's basically why I really like Mass Effect. Not so much for the gameplay, although I feel like the gameplay is okay, it's solid. It's not, like, it's much more improved, Fawwaz, than it was in 1. 1, it was really busted.
I feel like Mass Effect 1 was a very, very bad jumping off point for me, which is a funny thing to say because it's the first game.
I know. It's kind of hilarious because I started with 2 because I bought the PS3 version, right?
I definitely think Mass Effect, it's because I played I've gone on numerous times on this podcast about how I felt about 1. Yeah. And it's just because I played 1 and I hated it. And then 2 came out and it definitely looked like they were fixing a lot of stuff that I had issues with. And I don't know what happened. I think it was because I was in school and I didn't used to take my video game console with me to school. So I just ended up never buying 2. And then by extension, I didn't bother with 3. So I never... But, like, even watching the gameplay trailers of 2, it definitely looked like they fixed a lot of the issues that I had with the game. For example, one thing I hated about the first Mass Effect was how all 3 classes pretty much played the exact same. They added a little more diversity between the classes in Mass Effect 2. Yes. They made each class feel like its own thing, and apparently, I obviously I don't know, but apparently in Mass Effect 2, a lot of the decisions you make actually have effects on the gameplay. So I was like, cool. You know what? Yeah.
But that's the main reason why I realized if I had started with Mass Effect 1, my opinions on it probably would have been a lot more different. But the fact that I started in 2, which is a lot of people will pretty much agree that it is the best in the trilogy, I had a really positive experience with it. And I mean, I don't know, I love the world and I love the characters. Like, fucking Garrus is awesome. He's your bro. But no, I know exactly what you mean. But that's the main reason. Like, there's a lot of problems with Mass Effect 1, and it's more from a gameplay perspective. And the gameplay perspective stuff is broken. Lobster Monk and I are both big fans of Mass Effect, right? And he said that he's gone back and tried to replay parts of the trilogy, and he says it's really hard to go back to 1 after playing 2 because the gameplay is kind of busted in 1. But that's the main thing. That's the main thing why I like Mass Effect.
Okay, cool.
So before we wrap things up, the question of the day from J Streets, good old J Streets, is I know most of my questions have been towards gamer makers, but let's switch it to even things out. What are constructive criticism would you give to just gamers in general? What practices would you like to see changed and whatnot? I'm interested to see your answer, and then I'll chime in.
Okay, the conclusion I'll give to gamers is stop being punks. Okay, like seriously. Let me give you a basic example. I went
Okay.
to my video game, the video game events thing that I go to every week, and at the event, I had people there that were defending Street Fighter Five, and I'm like, the developers are never going to stop screwing you over until you say I want, until you make them stop screwing you over. Period. Right? Like gamers do this, and even I've been guilty of this in the past. But gamers do this shit a lot, where they start making excuses for developers for doing shit. Just call it like you see it, man.
Yeah.
You know, if someone releases a buggy ass game, you know, call them out for it. Be like, dog, why'd you give me? If someone releases an incomplete game, be like, why'd you give me an incomplete game? Don't settle. You know, like gamers settle so much. The number of times I've seen. Like when using Street Fighter 5 as an example because it's the one that's most fresh in my memory.
Yeah.
Like I was complaining about the online and some idiots was telling me, oh yeah, well name one AAA game that doesn't launch with broken online today, and I'm like, you see, because people keep saying shit like that is why every AAA game launches with broken online. Like, are you kidding? Like that's not an excuse. What's this thing called? I'm trying to think of an example. Like Team Fortress 2 launched fine online, okay? So it's not like it's impossible. I mean, I don't get it twisted. There's a difference between, like, no developer can attest for, like, for when a game launches. No developer can prepare their server, and this is just sticking on that one example. No developer can get ready for when their servers finally launch and they have millions of gamers on those servers. There's a difference between a game having some issues at launch and a game obviously not being ready to be launched. There's a difference there. And I'm criticizing the latter, not the former. The former is a very difficult thing for developers to fix. So I'm more likely to be like, oh, okay. And then the formula is even less annoying for gamers. So it's not something that just like butcher, like, for God's sake, you're talking about games that are actually unplayable when they launch. My friend could not even log into Street Fighter 5. He couldn't even log into the game. Are you kidding? And then gamers are defending this shit. So I'm like, stop defending developers, right?
Like gamers need, and it's funny that we're saying this. You don't want to defend developers, and gamers are very loud about opinions and criticisms and whatnot. But we need people that are used to defending developers and games to, like, at least acknowledge the problems. Like, even someone like I did one right now. It's like, I acknowledge the fact that yes, Mass Effect has a lot of problems, but I still enjoy it a lot. But I'm not going to ignore those problems and say that they don't exist.
Because like the reason why they fixed so many of the issues between Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 was because people complained about them. The reason why they took out that horrible vehicle, what's that stupid vehicle called again?
The Mako.
The reason why they took out the Mako was because so many people bitched about how crap the Mako was. The squeaky wheel gets the tire. Sorry, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. There we go.
Yeah.
If you don't complain, no one is ever going to notice anything wrong. Well, so, like, and I understand that people just don't like getting angry. Getting angry requires effort, and it's getting angry requires effort. It's not as much fun as just being happy, right? I get a headache every time I get angry. I'm getting a headache right now ranting about this shit. But at the end of the day, man, I love video games, right? And I want to see them continuously improve. And the only way that's going to happen is if we keep offering constructive criticism, which is another issue. Is that gamers just do not seem capable of offering constructive criticism. I don't think it is in our genetics.
It is difficult as gamers because I feel like it's either because gamers fall into two categories. We either have
it's either the tits or it's the shit.
Yeah, it's either they're defending the game and saying that everything is fine, it's perfect in every way and there's no problems with it, or they're the opposite and say, oh, this game is it's bullshit, 0 out of 10. They give it a barely passable score or just a dead score basically. And it's like when you pop reviews like that, or you say that, this is why I really don't like Metacritic, because Metacritic is known for that. Like, a lot of the time, it's just people saying 10 out of 10 or 0 out of 10, and that does not give any, like, valuable criticism on whether or not you should buy the game or not. You should not go to Metacritic to make a gaming purchase decision. So, and that's a problem. So I'm hoping that eventually, like, and we're starting to see more reviewers and whatnot being able to get more fair reviews, and I'm hoping that eventually we'll start to see this practice sort of dissipate and sort of get, because we need constructive criticism. We need to be able to praise games as much as we point out negative things about them.
Yeah, because I'm sure, like, I was on the Overwatch forums, right?
Yeah.
And this one dude he makes a thread complaining about how they've destroyed Bastion. Bastion is is a robot that transforms into a turret.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They've had a lot of problems balancing him. They've gone through a lot. He's probably gone through the most changes of any character in the game, because he's either just too good, or he's just terrible, or he's really good and not fun to play or play against. They haven't been able to find that nice middle ground. So they've been tweaking him a lot, and they made a new tweak to him. And one dude releases a thread talking about how they've ruined the character. He's unplayable now. Screw you guys. And then one of the workers at Blizzard actually commented, and he's like that. We don't mind you having issues with. I tried to find the thread, but I couldn't find it. So he was like, we don't mind you complaining about the game. Actually, quite frankly, we appreciate it. That's what a beta is for. We're testing stuff here out, and if you have issues with something, of course we'd love to hear it. But like, we'd love to hear it in a critical point of view. Next time, explain to us what exactly about it you didn't like, what exactly about it felt underpowered, and stuff like that. Because, like, I have no doubt, man, like, the game developers, the good ones anyway, love constructive criticism because they want to get better. They want to perfect their craft. Like, if you actually love making video games, you want to make the best video game that you can make. And then, you're biased, obviously, because you worked on this. So you release it to the world, and you want to hear what other people think about it. Yeah. So when people are like, okay, I liked this, I didn't like that, you're like, okay, cool. You take notes down, and then you fix that in the next game. I have no doubt developers love hearing constructive criticism. But then, like, gamers just need to learn to offer constructive criticism and be able to be able to be neutral, be like, okay, I like this, I like this, I like this, I didn't like this, I didn't like this, I didn't like this. Like I said it with The Witcher 3, man, I love that game. I give that game an 8 out of 10. But that game was padded. That game was padded to shit. Like, it did not have to be that long. And if I was talking to CD Projekt Red, I'd tell them, I'd be like that, I appreciate it, I loved a lot of aspects of the game, but I feel like you could fix this, you could fix that, and you could fix that. So yeah, that is what I think the gamers need to change. They need to learn to complain more, but they need to learn to complain the right way, not just go out there and bitch and moan, but offer game developers constructive criticism. So that's my answer to the question.
That's actually really, really good. Just from another perspective, this is just me, like, this is just more of a sillier response. This is a gamer etiquette, and this is more for when you're playing online, when you're playing on shooters. If you're going to have a snack, please, for the love of God, point your mic away so that we don't have to hear every single crunch of the chip and the lip smack, because nobody wants to hear that. And I am amazed there are some people that they don't even realize this. And it just drives me nuts. And I'm like, we can all hear you. Like, I don't want to, I want to hear you talking to me and telling me, oh, I need you to go over there. I need you to seal this door in Rainbow Six. I don't want to hear you, so that the guys are coming here. I think. Like, I don't want to hear that. But that's honestly, like, honestly, it's just like sort of like etiquette, like just sort of like etiquette. I mean, honestly, like this is more of a thing. If you're playing a team-based game and you keep like telling your teammates that they all suck and they're terrible, and like if you just keep doing that, then it's like you're never gonna win a team-based game. So, but I know that's the thing that's probably not going to change anytime too. Like shit talking your teammates is a staple of video game culture.
It's just a symbol of human being. Like, people are assholes. And anonymous people are even worse.
Yeah.
And no, I don't think that's going to change.
But that's something like the whole eating with your mic on. I think that's a reasonable, like at least a somewhat reasonable request.
Yeah. But you know what? It's funny because your point actually ties into my point. Constructive criticism.
Yeah.
You know, be like, yo, you over there, you're a healer, right?
Right.
So why aren't you healing people? Come on, son, help us out here. As opposed to you over there, you're a. I don't even feel like using some of those words.
Yeah, you know what?
Right
that might be a smart decision. Because I was going to like, Fawwaz, please don't say what most people say online.
Yeah. I was. It's funny. I was about to mouth the word, and I was like, I don't even use those words normally on day to day.
Why would you mouth the word when nobody can see you?
You know what? Don't judge me, Tyler.
All right, you know what? I can't judge you. That's not what this last question. This is about constructive criticism. So I think we're gonna end it on that note. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and leave a comment in the comment section. We'll make sure to answer it in the next podcast. So as always, this was William Liberty and
Fawwaz Muhammad.
See you guys next time.